Hello guys, this is Ace of Games. Uh, this is the fourth time I'm recording this gameplay, this playthrough, because I encountered some problems. The first problem was that I tried playing this on hard mode and I was stuck in the prison area section. I couldn't move on. And the second one, my recording didn't work properly 3 times in a row, and I didn't check at the end of the recordings to see if anything happened to them. So maybe we have better luck this time. So I decided to play this game in 2020 again because Amnesia Reborn has been announced by Frictional Games a couple of weeks ago, maybe months, I don't remember, and it's coming this autumn. And now I already know the story of Amnesia The Dark Descent because I wanted to play it because I didn't remember it so clearly in my head, like the details. So I decided to play it again, and if I was going to play it, why wouldn't I record it as well? And like I said, I wasn't happy with the previous recordings, so we are starting again, but I'm gonna make it just one full episode, a full walkthrough. Last time I did it in episodes because I didn't have time to play it for hours, like just from the beginning to the end. But now that I am free and this summer, I think we can do it. We're gonna play it on normal, we are not gonna struggle with hard mode. Let's see if we can make it without dying, because last time even if I played it on normal, I still died.
Don't forget,
times.
some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is... I am Daniel.
First of all, I'm gonna... yeah, just because I want you to see better. I don't need to see because I already know what's gonna happen. Playing this just for the story, the main story. That's our focus point. I don't trust you. I know it's not as enjoyable if I'm not getting scared, but there's nothing I can do. I already played it like 6 times, and 3 times it was like in the last month, because like I said, I encountered issues with the recording for the gameplay. I'm not recording with Nvidia Shield or Shadow or whatever it's called, and my first attempts were made with OBS, and it seems like OBS has a problem when it comes to Amnesia. It just doesn't like it as a game to capture. I tried to use fix that I found on YouTube, but that didn't work. It was the stutter issues. It was stuttering extremely bad. And I also saw this problem in another YouTuber that still plays Amnesia. I'm pretty sure his YouTube was the Custom Story Gatherers. It's a nice guy. I'll put his link in the description. He has a really good content when it comes to Amnesia. He played a lot of custom stories, and he does review some of them from time to time. Not a lot of people play this game anymore, even though it's a great game. I think it's the best horror game you can ever play. And that's because it was a breakthrough when this game was released in the horror game industry, because it had a lot of mechanics that other games didn't have. Most of them, like Resident Evil, you could protect yourself, you could fight, and at one point almost everything that was scary about it just disappeared, because you could you could start playing it competitively, like how fast you can go to a certain area or something like that. And on this game you cannot really do that, because you can't kill any monsters, so you just need to survive. Just hide, like you would most likely do in real life. Come on, dinner box. After the frictional game team that made Amnesia, the Dark Descent, weren't really happy with the story, because they didn't feel like it had a message at the end of the game, and they said that their next game will try to make it a lot better when it comes to the story, and that's what they did with Astoma, because they gave it a meaning at the end. It was about the human condition of survival. You should play that game. It's a really good game.
19th of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
I'm pretty sure the next Amnesia game will be a success. I don't think it will be as big as a success like the first game, like this game, just because when they made this game they set the expectations really
Alexander, is
high
it inside the castle?
for next
In a
gen
manner of speaking.
horror games.
Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
Because this game it became the pinnacle of horror games, at the top of the horror games genre. So it will be really hard even for themselves to reach a new goal for the horror game industry. Let's go to the laboratory first. I don't really understand why they weren't happy with the message that the story that this game has. Yeah, I guess the message isn't that helpful because it doesn't really have a message in the end. It's more about a story.
Closing in.
There should be more coop racks. Let me see. And one part aqua force.
Early alchemy experiment. This is my third attempt to produce artificial vitae. The former compounds lacked the potency I need, but I sense I'm close. Calamine and orpiment are given and the cuprite binds them well. This time I will attempt aqua regia instead of aqua fortis in hope it will produce a more even solution. The experiment was unsuccessful. The solution is highly acid and proves impractical to put in any use except as a detergent. Organic tissue reacts especially violently to the solution and should be handled with the greatest care. I may be able to use the recipe, but I'm losing hope that I will find an alchemic solution to my predicament. Evidence in the laboratory has revealed that combining 4 chemicals can create a powerful acid. Some sort of organic tissues blocks the path to the refinery. Can it be dissolved? These cylinders are Alexander's memory. One day I will return. If it wasn't for the thought of you, my love, I wouldn't be able to go on. When I find myself doing terrible things, I take comfort in you. As long as I am able to think of you and long for a life together, I know I'm better than the others. I weep for them. They lust for power without restraint, where I only crave fair judgment and a safe return. Chemical relocation. The lack of achievement to properly vent the fumes from my most recent experiment has taken its toll on many of my less stable ingredients in storage. Some seem unaffected, but many are stained by the fumes and will be difficult to salvage. I should do what I can and move them to the wine cellar. Chemical ingredients have been moved from the laboratory to the wine cellar. The door slammed shut behind him, and he knew he would never again see the old Taylor Art Berkeley Square. Oh, we don't have enough time. We can't go there yet. We don't have the key. We need to get a key from the archives. This is not gonna be like a speed run, but I'm not gonna stall too much here, because I'm already tired of recording this 4 times. Rare books.
May 1839. The unflinching African sun has continued to plague our expedition, making it impossible to dig until dusk. How Professor Herbert managed to find the location in these vast plains of nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of Tin Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
If you watch the trailer for Amnesia Rebuilt, you will know what he's talking about, because everything that he said in this note appears in that trailer. Wilhelm contract. I think that's contract. I hereby offer my full... yeah, it's a contract. I hereby offer my full attention and service to Alexander Baron of Brenningberg. This contract will reign for a total of 3 years, when my freedom shall return to me. In addition, Alexander Baron of Brenningberg is to recommend my service at the Prussian Royal Court and within the sanctum of the Order of the Black Eagle. May no man break this seal. Wilhelm, House of Gary.
May 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped.
Yeah. Floor plans, okay.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about wars. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
This is the third note.
May 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light. It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
I think we will find the endless deserts and the impossible geometry in the tomb in the next game, but we shall see.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
Local folklore. Alstead and Brenningburg Castle, 1801. Another region rich with lore is Alstead, deep within the East Prussian woods. For centuries there have been stories surrounding the hamlet and its neighbor, Castle Brenningburg. The quiet forest-clad mountains dressed with scattered lakes is as picturesque as can be, albeit the area is haunted by the dark. Ask any local and you will hear proof of the widespread superstition. All travelers should indulge themselves in such conversations, since it will certainly serve as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twist on the tales, but there are some motives that keep reappearing. The gatherers. This story reaches all the way back to the time of the 30 Years' War. It is said that soldiers who abandoned their duty got lost in the cold, dark woods and were forever doomed to roam the grounds. Their bodies, rotted by their tainted souls, have left them disfigured and empty of essence. Many have cited them over the years and described them as horrified revenants. They move slightly through the woods, shying away from any beholder. They are called gatherers as they seem to follow some ambition to steal living creatures. It is their prey which can be heard struggling inside damp burlap sacks dragged behind them, which reveal their presence. What dark scheme do they follow? A visit undone. Henrik Cornelius Agrippa, the well-known erudite, visited Alstad at the start of the 16th century. He resided in the local inn for a fortnight as he looked for the remnants of kingdoms past. During his stay, all the prominent members of society paid notice, and he is mentioned in many records of the time. One day he went to investigate the burrow in the northwestern glades only to never be seen again. Henrik is known to have passed away in Gremlock some 10 years later. He dismissed the notion of ever visiting Alstad. It makes you wonder what really happened. Was the mysterious man who visited the sleepy hamlet in the woods, and what happened to him? The immortal Baron. The Baron of Brenningburg lives a reclusive life with his family at his castle nearby, Alstead. And like most of those of noble birth, rumors are inherited alongside with the title. Researching the history reveals little before the castle was consumed by fire in late 16th centuries. It was rebuilt by Alexander, a nobleman from the Rhinelands, claiming the role as protector of the Prussian state. Alexander helped the region to flourish and remain popular through his presumed life. The family has always been secretive when it comes to lineage and heritage. Therefore, the birth and death of Alexander and his offspring have never been fully recorded. This has fed the idea that the Baron is in fact the one and the same who came from the west over 300 years ago, lived through the time of occupation and joined the coveted Order of the Black Eagle along with the great leaders of this country. About the story we just read about the gatherers, I'm gonna continue it when we get to the wine cellar, because I have something to say about it. Regarding closing of the wine cellar, Wilhelm and his fools have endangered my research long enough with their absent-minded handling of the human vessels. The sheriff is keeping a watchful eye on the forest and is killing my trusty servants. It's just a matter of time until they follow the trail to Brenningburg. I need to lock Wilhelm and his men up to avoid further investigation from the public. The wine cellar will therefore be sealed off until the matter has been handled. Either the king's men leave or they will starve. Whatever comes first, they can rot for all I care. Maybe I will feed them some wine. It would in a sense solve both of my problems. Now we can get the ingredients that we need to produce